Hello and welcome to my first impressions of Elden Ring. Just want to start by letting you know that this is my first From Software game. I did try Dark Souls 3, but I quit after about 20 hours of banging my head against the same boss, and it just didn't feel like it was for me. I did, however, have to give Elden Ring a try. I knew they would make the game a little bit more accessible because of the hype, and here we are. I'm about 80 hours in. Started playing right away on Xbox by switching my time zone to New Zealand. And so I started on the 24th, and today is the 1st of March, 2022. And if you are contemplating purchasing Elden Ring, just go ahead and buy it. It's definitely worth your money. If you like RPGs, you like exploring open worlds that have vast rewards for exploration. If you like extremely well designed and detailed boss fights with a large variety of enemies and going through lots of different weapons and build choices for your character. And then if you also like the adrenaline rush of open world invasion based PvP, and I know for sure you've already played Souls games before, you would have already bought it. So I'm assuming that you're watching this because you haven't tried these types of games and you're watching first impression videos. So this is definitely worth buying. And it is From Software's and Bandai Namco's magnum opus, combining all of the best things from Sekiro, Bloodborne, and the Dark Souls games and Demon Souls. It's just an experience, really. The world immerses you. I will say that there is a lot of downtime, and exploring can be quite easy to get lost in this game. There's been a lot of times where I've wanted to look up YouTube guides or look at pictures of maps on guides online to find out where to go next, because there is a lack of direction. So if you're easily frustrated about getting lost and not having a clear path, this game will get you lost, and you will have boss fights that are like brick walls unless you adapt your strategy. You can't exactly do the exact same technique for every boss. The bosses adapt to where you're positioned, when you roll, when you flask, what kind of attacks you're trying to do. And the AI in this game is very smart at trying to figure out how to beat you. So there's a lot of bosses that are going to cause you to die, especially if you go to them ill-prepared. The game is designed so that you have to, well, you don't have to, but if you're a newer player, you would benefit from exploring around before going down the main story quest line. There's a lot of optional content. Optional being in quotations. It's recommended for players experiencing this for the first time to explore before going to all the next main quest hard objectives where you're trying to beat the demigods. I'm going to try and keep this spoiler free, so I'm not going to mention anything about the story, but I will say that the story in this game is intriguing. It's worth listening to all the dialogues from the main characters, specifically Melina and Rennie, and most of the characters in the round table. Actually, I shouldn't have said that. Most of the characters that you interact with regularly. I actually just listened to all the dialogue from almost every character, and it's worth talking to a lot of the NPCs multiple times. That's one thing I will give you a tip. For combat, you do need to learn the timings and which kind of bosses and enemies you should be aggressively stanced against and when to kite. And you can never be greedy in this game with your attacks. Going for too many attacks in a row, you're just going to end up dying. You do have to pick your times, your attack windows. So I just want to say as well that this game isn't without its flaws. There is bugs with enemies attacking through walls when they shouldn't be able to without destroying the wall. Like concrete walls, for example. I've died a couple times to getting slashed through concrete, and it's very frustrating. Hopefully they're doing something to address that, unless it's actually a part of the lore of the game where they're supposed to be able to use magic to attack through walls or something. I don't know. And as well as in certain encounters, when you're in close quarters or when there's a wall to your back, the camera is inconsistent and can be very awful and hard to manage. It could just be because it's my first Soulsborne game. I do need to go back and play Sekiro and the other ones once they go on sale. I can't afford them, but yeah, the camera and the locking on is kind of frustrating at times. So those are the only two main gripes. This game is still an 11 out of 10, if not 10 out of 10. I don't know, it's just, it evokes a certain feeling where not only does the story give me goosebumps at certain points and gave me an exhilarating rush, knowing that what I was doing in the story mattered so much for the fate of the world, and the writing, specifically the two main characters you speak to, is just so majestic. It seems like you're in a novel that's being manifested in 3D, and you're the main character. The story is amazing, 10 out of 10 story. The world, 10 out of 10. I've never been more immersed in any world in any game ever. It's got a vast array of different kinds of landscapes, scary, spooky places, castles, caves, swamps, rivers, lakes, waterfalls, and the footage in the background doesn't do all the landscapes justice, but I'm going to be working on a full review video once I beat the game. I haven't quite beat it. These are just my first impressions after about, I think, 80 to 100 hours, somewhere around there. I have a level 125 Samurai, and I do recommend Samurai if you're a beginner. I was recommended this class from a friend who played Sekiro and all the Dark Souls games, and they told me that Samurai would be a safe choice for me for my first playthrough. And it has been pretty easy. Honestly, I'm still using the starting weapon, and I am close to beating the game. So you can literally just use the starting weapon as a samurai. Once it's fully upgraded, it does enough damage with the right Ashes of War and weapon enchant, coupled with maybe having a bow for some ranged attacks once in a while. You can dual wield, you can use both hands to wield it and get a 30% damage bonus by power stancing. And yeah, you could literally just use the default gear for Samurai and win the game. You do have to upgrade your armor, but that comes with exploring the game and finding all the treasures that are spread out. Yeah, my first impressions are buy the game. If you're already thinking about it, just go ahead and get it. You will have, it's going to be a love-hate relationship with the game. You're going to get frustrated. There is going to be moments where you think that you rolled or you dodged, but the button didn't go through or something. I've definitely banged my head against the wall, some of the bosses for 4+ hours. So there is bosses where learning all their different attacks and then exactly when the frame is when you need to roll is going to take you time if this is your first game in this style, but it's still worth it. And the reason it's worth it is most of the bosses that you feel like they're outplaying you, once you finally overcome the challenge, it just feels so rewarding. It feels like you really have overcome something that was really holding you down, and I don't know how to explain it other than it feels good to finally beat a boss that you've been dying to a long time. And then you're gonna come back to the next playthrough if you try a different class, and you're gonna know the strategy for the most part. It's one of those games that you can master and eventually speedrun if you put enough hours into it. I don't know if I'm going to go that far with it. I'm definitely going to try some PvP. I've gotten huge adrenaline rushes from doing some PvP, invading people's worlds or getting invaded and dueling it out. It's a rush. It really is. So this game is definitely worth it. And I hope this video has helped you make your decision on whether or not you're going to give it a try. And I'm just glad that I did. And thank you for watching. If you're looking forward to some more Elden Ring content, now I know there's millions of YouTube videos being uploaded an hour for this game already. So thank you for choosing to watch my video. It means a lot. Even if you don't subscribe and even if you don't come back in the future, I still appreciate you. And good luck in your adventures out there. And perhaps I'll join up with you in co-op and we can take down some bosses together. Take care.